each day. Where there's a will, there's a way.
Whew. What a day. What a good day. It's a good day. Gonna be a good day. All my troubles are gonna fade away. I don't think I have the right words, but I think you get it. Man. Yeah, it's been such a good week that I can't wait to talk to my therapist. Well, I always enjoy talking to my therapist. We've kind of become friends. I don't know. We're friendly. Put it that way. Yo, Amber. Good to see you. Glad I caught you at least at a time when you could join. So, I will do. I keep setting everything up at 11. I don't mean to. Um, but sometimes there's different. Not everybody's Mountain Standard Time. So, but I do want to keep this at 11 o'clock. Things like that. Working on a workbook. Yep. Working on a workbook. Working in a coal mine, going downtown. Working in a coal mine. Whoop! I'm gonna slap down working. Dear Lord, I'm so tired. How long must this go on? Oh, just had a pretty good podcast with Dawn. Her name's Donna Marston. Not going to come out till September though. So not everybody puts their podcasts out the same day. I tend to do it. I get a little too excited. That's why I'm horrible at Christmas presents and stuff because I just can't keep my darn mouth shut. I just can't seem to keep it shut. I get too excited for them. Oh, anyway, who's it? Welcome to the Daily Trudge. My name's Dion. I was just in a meeting. It was on expectations, a hybrid meeting. Sometimes when it's a hybrid meeting, I get a little weird about, I was also kind of busy. I was listening in. It was on expectations. I figure, hey, what a good one to do, right? So if you're here, please say hello, whether you're watching the live or the rewatch. Yep. You want to see Dion with an afro? Not everybody will be able to see it. That's me right there. Right next to me is my mother. Okay, this is my little brother and my little sister. That was my cousin. He was still pretty. That's my oldest brother Scott. That is my grandmother, and I have no fucking clue who that guy is. He was dating my grandmother at the time, so I don't remember his name. George. We'll call him George. That's Dion with hair and an afro. The podcast I just did, she wants a headshot, and I don't have any. I don't have pictures. I don't. I'm not picturesque, but Amber's actually gonna. Just wait for that money to come in, Amber. We'll set that. I need to know your pricing too, by the way. And don't you dare tell me you're gonna do it for free because I'm gonna pay you something. Okay. Family discount, fine, but don't you come at me with I'm gonna do it just because we're friends. No. Mm-mm. All right. Expectations. We're taught that expectations are bad. That's what we're kind of taught. And in a sense, for an alcoholic, yeah, that would be entirely true. Because I tend to go beyond what that expectation needs to be. It's when I start when I start expecting how people should act and what they should do and things like that. That's where it starts to get dangerous. Now there is this thing called reasonable expectations, right? Let's say you have a sales job and your job is supposed to be on the phone, smiling and dialing, and stick to the script. All right. My favorite line, stick to the script. It's written that way for a reason. Okay. Right. So that'd be a work expectation, $1 million. Can I give that to you in crypto? $1 million, and that is the family discount. Expectations, good and bad, right? So, all right, trash is full. I mean, it's like overflowing. What's the expectation? Don't add more onto it. It isn't a competition to see how high we can get it. Let's take the darn trash out. What's the next expectation? Put another bag in, and then there's one more. You don't need somebody to tell you how great of a job you did taking out the trash. Now, maybe it's your brother's job and you do it for him, so he thanks you for doing it. That's something a little bit different. When you're walking down the street and you see trash on the ground, do you pick it up? Do you feel an expectation to pick it up? She comes here often. She isn't here, so I'm gonna tell something that she talks about. So she talks about how she used to have those shooters, and it was by a liquor store anyway. But there was this bush that she kept throwing her shooters into. All right, and her sponsor said, "You need to go back and you need to pick up all your shooters. You need to go pick up that trash. That's your mess." I think this is a great story. So she does, but other people have been throwing their own shooters into it. Must be right next to the liquor store or something, right? Must be the bush of shooters. Hey, did you see this alcohol bush over here? Man, it's not producing anything but empty bottles, but right. And she had picked those up. No, I'm not. Those aren't mine. Those are somebody else's. They need to pick up their own stuff. Logical. I get it. Talks to her sponsor. Sponsor's like, no, you need to go pick them all up. And I get that. See, sometimes what God is asking us to do might be an expectation, but not all expectations are bad. If you notice the problem, is it your problem? Even though it's not your problem? I don't know. Probably going to depend, right? So expectations can be both beneficial and detrimental, right? When healthy and realistic, they can motivate and drive us towards goals, while unrealistic or negative expectations can lead to disappointment, anxiety, and even depression. The key lies in managing expectations, setting them appropriately, and being prepared to adjust when things don't go as planned or how I expect them. In the beginning of my sobriety, I was out visiting my grandma. I was talking to my mom about the kids, how the kids were just not cleaning the kitchen to my specifications. And what is this? It was an expectation. And she proceeded to tell me, Dion, you want to know why I always picked you to clean the kitchen? I said, why? She said, because you do it perfectly. You're a Virgo. You leave nothing unturned in the kitchen. That's how I was taught. And when you grow up in group homes and jails and shit, it's kind of the expectation. Right? So, said, but what you're going to need to do is this. You have to be okay with 80%. And it worked. Even now, now my kids are up to like 90% on the kitchen. Yeah. No, not really. For that. Right. Because I even clean the front of the fridge. If it's dirty, I clean it. So the fridge, if the appliances are dirty, still there. But anyway, what it did is since they got to 80%, guess what? I only had to worry about 20% now. So it was the way that I was looking at it. It was the way that I was setting the expectation. That 80% is the expectation, but they are never going to be able to clean the kitchen like I clean the kitchen. It's just, I do not know many people that clean like I do, right? I don't even like watching other people clean because they do it incorrectly, but it gets done. It gets done. All right. So, good aspects of expectations: motivation and goal setting. Expectations can act as a powerful motivators, pushing us to work towards desired outcomes and achieve personal growth. Like with my therapy, there's some reasonable expectations there. I'm setting goals in there. So the expectation is every time we meet that I'm still working towards those goals. Maybe I haven't met them yet, but in this case, progress counts for a lot, right? So there's another expectation. So we call these reasonable expectations. All right. But unfortunately, Dion comes up with unreasonable expectations. What was I doing? I was setting them up to fail so I could drink. That's why I was doing it. Amber says, you're not alone. The Virgo is the same way. This Virgo is the same way. Yeah. And why is it as soon as you get an area cleaned up, people just come along and they dump a bunch of shit on it? Man, it's the one thing that drives me. It's like, can it be clean for 24 hours, please? All right. So that's why I have 4 cats, so I don't like carpet because then it gets all musty. And anyway, right? So it could be set for goal setting. The expectation this week is I'm going to walk 1 mile. That's a goal. A goal and expectation could be the same thing. Direction and purpose. It can help give you direction and supply you with purpose in your life. And it's important that alcoholics have purpose in their life, because when we feel useless, we go straight to the bottle, and that leads to death for us. Yeah. Yeah, Amber says Scott and Isaac's favorite thing to do. Yeah. What my wife likes to do is go get other people's shit that's free, bring it back, and none of it works. And now it's just trash. Right? I had to make the rule: no more stuff. I'm like, we're getting rid of stuff at the moment. And I bought a house with no carpet. Yeah, see, it's a Virgo thing. The floors are easier to clean, right? And I still use a vacuum. I vacuum, then I sweep, then I mop, right? Right. And if my nail clippers are not in the same place and you borrowed them, you're gonna hear from me. Anyway, so it can create purpose. Having expectations provides a sense of direction, guiding our actions and efforts. Increase morale and productivity. Positive expectations, especially when held by others, can boost morale and lead to improved performance. Right? Maybe you have something due at work and it's a team effort. And the expectation is that you do your part so that we can all get it there on time. Right. And that way we're kind of working together. In this case, goals and expectations are the same thing. Right. One time I had to go to court. It was my second time getting caught driving without my license. And the consequence was this: Dion, you have to get your license back within 3 months or you're going to jail. Reasonable expectation. They utilize the goal as punishment to become a better person. That is how an expectation is used for good use. And we do it often in AA. Look at all the action steps. All right. All right. Bad expectations. Disappointment and unhappiness. When reality falls short of expectations, it can lead to disappointment, sadness, and depression. Now, I am this way, especially when I'm drinking. This is the part that comes out in me. And all of this, everything that we're getting ready to talk about, well, maybe not all of it, but is just Dion setting himself up to be able to drink, to supply Dion with good enough excuses for his bad, bad, bad behavior. So I can blame somebody else. Well, if you had my life, right? Well, maybe you ought to stop putting these high expectations. It's usually expectations on other people that we know they can't achieve. We know they can't do it. All right. Anxiety and stress, unrealistic or overly rigid expectations can cause anxiety and stress as individuals struggle to meet the perceived demands. This usually has to do with perfection. How many times have you met some kid whose parents are extremely smart, and the expectation is that they achieve what they achieve? Unreasonable expectation. Maybe that person doesn't want to be a doctor or a lawyer. Maybe they want to be a garbage man. Maybe they want to be a mechanic. Doesn't mean that they're less smart or less educated or anything, but gosh, they might have a different preference. You know, parents do this with children all the time. Well, I grew up this way, so therefore, yeah, that's not fair. It's not right. We're supposed to evolve, become better people, right? So watch the expectations that you put on your kids. Okay. And this is a tough, I was just talking about this with Donna. If you have kids and they have drank or used drugs, it's a tough one, man, on how to handle it. It's very, very tough. And even in that case, we can start to set expectations that they're not going to be able to fulfill. They have to be reasonable goals. Okay. Expectation means it's one sided. Goals means everybody's kind of involved and is in agreement with it. Did you ask the person, hey, I'm going to put this expectation on, try it. I'm going to put this expectation on you. Do you think you're going to be able to live up to it? See, it's already not working, is it? See, if you have to ask and go out of your way, it might already be wrong. And this is what I was just talking about, negative self-fulfilling prophecies. Yeah. Yeah, self-fulfilling. Lower negative expectations can create self-fulfilling prophecies where individuals underperform because they believe they're expected to fail. Oh, you're stupid. You're just dumb. You just don't get it. You're stupid. Right? For the longest time, I thought that I wasn't as smart as other people for a very, very long time until I was 17. And even then, other people would tell you, you're wise beyond your years. But then I had that negative talk in the back of my head. It wasn't until at 17 that I went and took my GED. Okay. And I scored in the 98th percentile. And they were amazed. It was like some of the, okay, where'd you go to high school? I didn't go to high school. Well, what? Well, so not only did I graduate before everybody else in my class, I scored very, very high. And they're like, you're a very intelligent person. Did you know that? Nope, I did not. Now I know better. Right? Those expectations that my parents set on me for school. It isn't that I didn't understand. It isn't that I didn't get what the teacher was saying. It was the fact that they had to repeat it for 20 fucking minutes because everybody else had to ask stupid fucking questions because they didn't get it. So I got bored. And when Dion gets bored, he acts out. That was the problem. I was bored. All right. Relationship strain. I think we're all pretty familiar with that. Yeah. Expectations can put a strain on relationships. For sure. All right, managing expectations. Set realistic goals. Strive for achievable goals that align with your capabilities and circumstances. Why is that a good idea? Okay, especially for alcoholics, because we need to challenge ourselves. See, the thing is most of our major organs will repair itself. The brain does not. What it does is it creates a new neural pathway. That's its way of healing. But that neural pathway that you jacked up with drugs and alcohol, it's gone, never to be recovered. It was like that email that you deleted that you really needed, but there's no way you're getting it back. That's the same sort of thing. So we need to be challenged. Right? Now, if you're comfortable in your sobriety and in your recovery, maybe it's time to set some realistic goals. Get out of your comfort zone. Challenge yourself. Now, that doesn't mean that you need to walk around in recovery being uncomfortable. There's this thing called serenity. It's when you decide that humility and character building is the way to go. That's what we're talking about. Be flexible. That's what I had to do. The number one thing that used to just piss me off, and it still does kind of now, but I've been learned to become more flexible. When I get very selfish about my time. And if you are inconveniencing my time, I tend to get a little upset. Like, I'm not usually available after 8 o'clock at night. I'm usually not. Right. So, maybe 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 my wife and I are going, we run down to Home Depot to grab something. And on the way back, oh, can we stop and get a drink? That's where I'm not the best flexible, but it depends on my mood. But usually I'm like, you're adding stuff on now? Because in me, I have it planned. How long it's going to take us to get home, what I'm doing when I get out of the car. See, all that shit's planned in my head already. And now you're disrupting my plan. Right? So I've learned how to become more flexible. Yeah, we can go do that. We can go do that. Besides, yeah, maybe I want a coffee too. Why not? Why not? Practice acceptance. Cultivating a mindset of acceptance, recognizing that life is full of unexpected twists and turns. Okay. Now, if you practice acceptance enough, then what happens is life becomes an adventure. Then it becomes an adventure. It's like problems and opportunities, the same thing. It's a mindset. How am I going to look at this? What am I going to do? Focus on the present, live in the moment. Live in the moment. When an expectation becomes future tripping, I am probably wrong. When I have a reasonable request or expectation and it doesn't get done to my specifications, I'm okay with it. I'm like, oh, thank you for doing 80% of it. You freed up some of my time by doing that. Thank you. Think of it that way. The fact that they did get 80% of it done. And we can be grateful for that, right? Because then you can just go on through and bloop, 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 bloop. Because you got your system down. You silly Virgos. You got your system down. One thing I hate is when people try and help me with dishes and I'm like right in the middle of it. I'm like, no, just dry. Just be 2 feet that way. Or I'm gonna elbow you. All right. There's some things I'm still working on. But heck, not too many people argue with me when I say, no, I don't want your help with the dishes. They just don't argue. And if that's going to be my problem, well, fuck, I'm going to take it. If that's my biggest problem with that, then I'm going to take it because it used to be a lot worse. But the main point for us alcoholics and expectations is not utilizing them anymore to set ourselves up to fail. That is old behavior and a bad habit. Setting yourself up to fail is a habit that needs to be broken at the root. All right. Thank you, everybody, for being here. That everybody being Amber. Glad I could get one in that you could catch today. So thank you all my rewatchers and everybody lately. I've gotten a lot of support lately. A lot of people are really enjoying the book. My mom said that the story that I put in there was fine with her. So we're going to utilize that story. I'm not sure how I'm going to put it out, whether I'm going to do it for free, whether I'm going to charge for it. I'm not sure yet. That'll all fall into place. Thank you all for being here. I appreciate it. I love you. You know I do. Peace out. And have a